So, ladies and gentlemen, I think the Atlanta Falcons offense is just names. In fact, I think the Atlanta Falcons offense, for the most part, through 4 games out of this season, is vastly overrated. And I'm going to prove it on today's episode. Not because I want to prove a point, but more so, I want to inspire this Bills defense that has been certainly performing a hell of a lot better than what the eye test suggests. I typically get into a lot of conversations on social media where people are just like, oh, Dan, stats lie sometimes. Well, let me tell you what, maybe that is true, but the eye test, that lies a hell of a lot more often. And all we can do as football fans is just look at trends through a coalition slash a compilation of attempts and be able to draw conclusions and hope that this defense can actually live up to its name. I'm very confident that this is going to be a game where the Buffalo Bills defense with Ed Oliver back is going to surprise a lot of us, and we're going to be very pleased with how this unit overall performs. Guys, as always, as you're coming in, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up sign. It's the easiest way to show some love on this channel. As you can see, we have a very crowded live chat community, which I love. I absolutely love seeing all of you in here, all of the regulars indeed. But if you hit that thumbs up sign for me, that recruits even more friends for us to talk ball with Monday through Friday at 10:15 a.m. EST. As always, I would also like to hear where each and every single one of you are tapping in from this morning. Yesterday, we had somebody, I think, from Chile, which was awesome. So let me know where you're tuning in from. What corner of the globe, corner of the continental United States are you tapped in from? Very intrigued in getting into today's topic. I need to give a giant shout out to our good friend Sleeper. Folks, Sleeper is bar none the best player prop platform on the market today. And the best thing about it is that just signing up, you end up getting a free $20. Who in the hell would have thought that Jackson Dart, all right, and Cam Scattaboo would have went off the way that they did last evening? And I mean, say that you did predict that accurately and you had it on Sleeper Picks, you probably could have walked away a pretty big winner. Let's be honest with ourselves. So take advantage of Sleeper. And they're giving away a free $20 just for signing up. And if you do put an initial deposit down, they're matching that 100%, all the way up to $100. Simply pick anywhere between 2 to 6 players, and you could see returns of well up to 1,000x. Shout out to Sleeper for being a proud partner of today's show. And without further ado, let's start getting in to some conversations here. All right, where's everyone tapping in from? First off, let's talk. Let's talk. Where's everyone tuning in from? Lurkers included. Lurkers included, man. There is 101 of you in here, all collectively. I'm going to need all 103 of you to let me know where you're tuning in from. We got Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Go Bills. Sounds like Bill Belichick. Maybe out of a job here sooner rather than later. Bills defense, forget tackling, is part of playing defense. That is one of the sole weaknesses, but every other narrative surrounding this team, surprisingly enough, we're doing pretty well. Arkansas, go Bills. Angela, hope all is well with you. Hornell, New York, Ivan and me, how you doing? What's good, chat? Hector, how you doing, man? Jamestown, New York. Cheektowaga, New York. Austin, what's going on, brother? New Jersey, Jordan is in the building. St. Louis, Ian, what's going on, man? How you doing? El Paso, Texas, always in here, Dano, no matter what. Special shout out to everyone that never misses an episode, man. You guys are crazy, and I love it. Toledo, Ohio. We have Stody, New York is in the building. Erie, Pennsylvania. Go Bills. We have Pasadena, California. Hector, what's going on, dude? How you doing, man? Montreal, go Bills. We have Deb is in the building. Hi from Gasport. What's going on, man? What's going on, y'all? Hope all is well. And Wisconsin, obviously, St. Cloud, Florida. Let's get into business. Now, here's the thing. Sometimes I think for when you're just like utilizing the eye test, or you're going off of, oh my God, look at this stacked roster that this specific team has, you automatically assume that they are going to be an incredible unit. A lot of times, like when you end up really unpacking some of the specifics, how they play particular types of competition, a lot of the times they're not as scary as you think, right? that old saying of things are never as good or as bad as you think, the exact same thing goes for a variety of NFL rosters. And I kind of wanted to unpack exactly like, all right, what is scaring Bills Mafia about this Atlanta Falcons team? What are the narratives for people that are still a bit negative, that are still in the doom and gloom type like mentality after that Patriots loss? And the first thing is Bijan Robinson. They're like, oh my God, Dan, Bijan Robinson, man, he is absolutely going to destroy us out there. He's like another Derrick Henry. He's another Saquon Barkley. He's another Jonathan Taylor. And sure, if Buffalo can't clean up their tackling issues, I could see him going for well over 100. But that doesn't mean that they have one of the best running offenses in the NFL. In fact, I think that it's actually quite the opposite. As you can see, and a giant shout out right to the Buffalo Bills for being the most efficient running offense in the NFL, EPA wise, which is estimated points added, and then number one in the NFL for DVOA, which is absolutely insane. Excuse me, number two. And the Dallas Cowboys are number one. Shout out to them as far as EPA. And so you have the Buffalo Bills as the number one running offense in the NFL, and then EPA per attempt, which is always something that we need to take a look at here. Look at that. Number one at EPA per attempt, right? So when a lot of us are concerned about, oh my God, Bijan Robinson and that run game, okay? Atlanta needs to be worried about James Cook in this run offense. They absolutely have to. A lot of us, like normally when we're talking about this Buffalo Bills defense, and one of the biggest things we always complain about is, wow, we are significantly undersized. Guys, this entire team and this entire defensive front over in Atlanta, significantly smaller than Buffalo. They might be the most collective, smallest defense up front that's in the league currently right now. So always know that the grass is not always greener. But let's compare where the Atlanta Falcons are when you have Bijan Robinson, you have Algier, who is also a quality running back for the Atlanta Falcons, who ends up getting some runs. The Atlanta Falcons, folks, are 19th in the NFL for EPA. When you see negatives when you're looking at offenses, this specifically suggests that they are below average when you see negatives from an offensive side of things. So they are slightly below average in the NFL. That's good enough for 19th in the NFL. You have the New Orleans Saints had a better run game than the Atlanta Falcons statistically. I'm not saying that Atlanta has a worse running back. That is not the case. Two things can be true. Number one, stellar running back in Bijan Robinson, way better than the New Orleans Saints. Way better than Scattaboo. Although, shout out to Scattaboo, right? Hell of a game last night, and I hope that he continues to pick it up, right? Way better running back than Pittsburgh. Way better running back than Jacksonville. Way better running back than Carolina, which is ecstatic. But as far as a unit, as far as a collective piece together, this Atlanta Falcons team, as far as EPA is concerned, is a below average squad. As far as DVOA, they are a below average squad when it comes into running the football, which is ironic because they run the football quite a bit. So what this defense needs to do, as we ended up touching on this yesterday during my preview, and this is very important, right? We need to stack the box. Like, we need to bring Cole Bishop down and create as much traffic as humanly possible in, right, that line of scrimmage 9 yards down the field. Because we are looking at perhaps one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL for stretching the ball downfield. Never mind 20 yards downfield, 10 yards downfield. He's one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. His accuracy completely goes out the window when he attempts to stretch out the field. So why in the hell would we run a too high safety shell? Why would we? It makes no sense. Force Michael Penix to beat us with single high. Maybe he gets a couple of plays off, but for the most part, I think that is the recipe to get it done. We're looking at an Atlanta rushing attack that has one of the best running backs in the NFL, but as far as working as a cohesive unit, they are below average through 4 games out of the season. They could very well pick this up. But what I'm looking at, single high safety, bring Cole Bishop into the box, go on ahead and make sure you take care of coverage right in that short to medium area of the field because Michael Penix is not going to burn you that way. So I'm feeling pretty good in that category as far as their rushing attack, if you will. Now, a lot of us love talking crap about our defense, right? A lot of us love talking crap about the Buffalo Bills defense. Surprisingly enough, I think I've shown you this already, right? And like a lot of people were, shocked, like when they ended up hearing how good or how bad like this team was. But pressure is key right here. I really like this Atlanta Falcons offensive line with, of course, the exception of Wilkerson. Like, dude is a career backup guy. He's not starting on purpose. They ended up losing their guy earlier in training camp. I wanted to say he was out for the season. But not a lot of quality matchups for the Buffalo Bills defensive line. But when you look at everything, when you're looking at pressures, and a lot of people were very angry with me when I ended up bringing this up about the Buffalo Bills defense here. People are like, oh, Dan, we're just not getting to the quarterback. What are you talking about? So we're tied for 9th place in rate overall sacks, right? So we're tied with Minnesota at 13. We're 11th in the NFL. As far as sack percentage, as far as snaps, let's take a look at this bad boy. Where's Buffalo? Number 7. Or tied for 6th place with Minnesota at 8.2%. So this whole like, oh, we're not sacking the quarterback or, oh, we're not pressuring the QB. I have no idea what you guys are talking about at this point, right? I have no idea what a lot of people are talking about here. We got pressures at the end of the day. Let's take a look at this. Let's go ahead and take a look at who's leading in pressures. We have Buffalo. 4th place, 67 pressures in general. What about pressure percentage? Where is Buffalo in this category? Number 1 pressuring defensive line in the NFL. A lot of us are probably concerned about, hey, you know what? What about tendencies from the Buffalo Bills or coverage, excuse me. Like that's probably one of the biggest things we hear from the Buffalo Bills side of things is, oh my God, it's coverage. Man, like this Buffalo Bills team can't run quality. So the coverage reps. So what's going on in that category? Well, let me go ahead and tell you what's going on. As far as coverage is concerned, as far as open percentage, this right here is the worst in the league. Look, it's not all that bad. It's not as bad as people are really willing it to be. Like when you go to DVOA, let's go ahead and check this out. It's got to be improved. Trust me, that much I can tell you. But when you end up looking at all of this, not bad defensively. Not bad defensively at all. We are 2nd in the NFL for coverage in base against the pass. 2nd only to the Seattle Seahawks. And the Jacksonville Jaguars, who everybody else on the face of the planet has been glazing for the past couple of weeks for being this, oh my God, incredible type defense. Guess what? We're better than them DVOA. If you want to check out EPA, so we can do this entire conversation right here. Again, not bad. 9th. Slightly below the Kansas City Chiefs. Better than Detroit, better than Philadelphia, better than the Green Bay Packers, better than Chicago, better than Carolina, San Francisco. Surprisingly better than the Cleveland Browns. So it's not as bad as it all seems. It's really not as bad as it all seems. However, the problem with this team, tackle, man. That's the problem with the Buffalo Bills defense, folks. Tackling the opposing player. Yards after the catch has been a mutiny against this defense. As far as standard coverage reps, as far as run reps, this Buffalo Bills team, not bad. It's not as bad as you think. Clean it up, though. Clean it up. Get it done. I think that this presents the best opportunity for this Buffalo Bills defense to really make a statement and allow people to calm down. Like, that's the biggest issue with this squad, folks. 3 issues with the Buffalo Bills. Tackling, wrap up. Okay? I don't anticipate us to go from one of the bottom of the leagues in missed tackle percentage to the top, but I very well would like us to begin our journey to about the middle. I'm okay with a couple of missed tackles, but let's mitigate it as much as humanly possible. I think that would be cool. Number 2, how about we don't add a whole football field worth of penalty yards? A whole football field worth of penalty yards. That would be ideal. That would be cool. And then number 3, do not make it a habit of throwing 3+ turnovers or having 3 turnovers. This team does not turn the football over. Normally, we play very complimentary football. Luckily, which is good, the referee that is officiating on Monday night with Josh Allen and the Bills have an 8-3 record. He's not going to be calling anywhere near as much penalties as we ended up seeing with Hockley this previous Sunday Night Football matchup. So ideally, I am feeling pretty damn good about this. We have MT coming with a question. How would you feel about Justin Reed for safety? Taylor Rapp, lack of athleticism is an issue to me in the current NFL. Surprisingly enough, Rapp is probably the biggest concern right now. He has a nose injury, which I'm very curious to hear how that came to fruition. Very curious to see how that played out. I would not be opposed to it. Quality player, formerly on the Kansas City Chiefs, now on the Saints. I'm curious to see what the Saints do. I think they would be sellers at this point. If not him, I would also be interested in Xavier Woods. But who knows? Safety is probably a bit better as far as an addition. As far as corners, I feel like we're good. I do think Maxwell Harrison is going to play. Like some of us are probably a bit concerned that his 21-day so the practice window has not been activated yet. 0 point into activating him when we have a full week off after Monday. Why would we do that? He's probably going to be activated Wednesday leading up to the Carolina Panthers game. So that's kind of how you look at it. And shout out to my buddy Kevin for clarifying this for all of us yesterday on the Bills Roundtable. Just because a 21-day practice window is open does not mean he needs to wait for the full 21 days. He could quite literally be activated versus the Carolina Panthers if the team wanted to go that route. You could quite literally activate somebody's 21-day practice window and have him start the following day. But Max Harrison is indeed a rookie. So I don't think that they're about to be going that route. I think that they're going to want him to have a couple of team reps. And we'll be seeing Harrison maybe against the Kansas City Chiefs if McDermott's ballsy. Or maybe afterwards. Who knows, man? You know what? We drafted him to be an answer. We drafted him to be an answer for Xavier Worthy. I'm not sure if we throw that out there that way. Let's see what is going on. This past game was very uncharacteristic as far as penalties go. Usually we can expect Dawkins for 1 or 2 false starts, but there was just a ton of penalties across the board. Yeah, man, for sure. I think that Buffalo earned each and every single one of them. However, Hockley does not let anything slide. It's not just against the Buffalo Bills. Like, he is known for taking control of games and inserting himself in each and every single team play. We're not going up against a guy that has that history with us. So, barring any clear penalties from Buffalo, I think that we'll be okay. I feel like we'll be okay at the end of the day, man. That's kind of my thought here. Oh, man, dude. Shout out to Atlanta Falcons Fandemic. Did someone say Atlanta Falcons, let's get it on? All right, listen, I'm going to be hopping on my boy's channel here in about an hour. All right, folks, I highly recommend that all Bills fans end up piling over and supporting myself as we end up discussing this game and seeing what we should anticipate, man. Monday's stats read as follows. Allen, 268 yards, 2 touchdowns, 61 yards rushing, 1 touchdown. Cook, 121 and 2 touchdowns after the fact. Austin's coming in. That's what Taysom Hill did against the Giants and played. Shout out to the Giants. All right. Shout out to Jackson Dart, Cam Scattaboo beating the Philadelphia Eagles. Who the hell thought that would have happened? Who the hell thought that would have happened, man? That's the question. That's the question. The 2021 Bills were 6th in pressure and the number 1 defense in the NFL. And we remember what happened in the postseason. Don't get me wrong. These stats are nice, but it has to jive with the eye test too, in my opinion, for sure. But both can lie to you. Stats can lie and the eye test can lie. The problem is that the eye test lies way more often than statistics do. Stats give you a full picture, right, of what the team looks like in its current existence. Stats end up going completely out the window if you ultimately end up losing a couple of your starters and you're rolling out somebody from the practice squad to fill in those shoes, right? Where Buffalo is, based off of this matchup, I think that this is a great matchup for Buffalo. It's a great matchup with Buffalo all across the board. I think that this is a good defensive get-right game. It's because, surprisingly enough, guys, like, yes, we lost to the Pats last week, but like really outside of a couple incredible plays that we ended up getting from Drake May, and not just one or two, like we saw a lot of incredible plays that not a lot of quarterbacks make. Thankfully, we have one of those on our team. But I feel like holding a team to 23 points is doing its job, right? Especially with the Buffalo Bills offense that averages, 30 plus points. And for the past 2 years, I think holding a team to 23 points and more specifically holding a team to about, like 6 points in the first half is certainly doing their job. So we just need our offense to pick it back up. And luckily, Josh Allen does relatively well in domes. His stats are completely through the roof. So I'm excited. Hey, Dan, who says no? We have A.J. Brown for Dawson Knox straight up, maybe throwing Curtis Samuel in 7th. They reload fast, and we get a solid number 2 behind Coleman. So the Eagles say no to that. So the Eagles say no to that for sure. If you want A.J. Brown, and surprisingly enough, it wouldn't cost the Buffalo Bills that much money this year. Kev actually pointed this out earlier today on X, where whoever could potentially acquire A.J. Brown would cost about $750,000. $750K. But that's a valuable asset. And that's Howie Roseman. He's going to ask for a second or a first. Would I? So would I do that? Maybe. But that's my thought process. That's my thought process, at least. That's me. All right, we have Fanged Hawk is coming into the building. Would you put in challenging ref calls be a good idea? You really can't, right? I feel like that would slow the game a little bit, but that is it. We have the everyone eats now more like intermittent fasting. So the offense is solid, dude, right? So like, here's the deal. Like when you end up looking at the offense, and so I know that people they like or love the eye test. Like people look at the eye test and they're just like, okay, like that's it. But at the end of the day, man, so much more goes into it, right? Like as far as offense is concerned, guys, like, come on. So the Buffalo Bills are the best offense in the NFL with EPA. Best offense in the NFL. 47.39. Best one. Per dropback, have the Buffalo Bills per DB right here. 4th in the NFL per play. 0.260. 4th best offense in the NFL per play. Best offense in the NFL right here. Per EPA in general. As far as DVOA, so the Buffalo Bills are the 5th best offense in the NFL, and that's based off of competition. So the whole hate that I have been getting from Joe Brady and oh my God, I hate these. How much can you really hate on this team? And I really don't pound the table as much as many people out there, right? That say, oh my God, we need a true number 1 wide receiver. For what? Right? For what? One other thing. And this is not to dunk on anybody, right? Because I understand that we want to make sure that this team is as good as humanly possible. My only intention is just to kind of talk you guys off of a ledge. That's what I would like to do. Something that's interesting and something I guarantee you that you were shocked. Everybody on earth continuously comes out and says, oh my God, we have no separation on this team. Look at this. The best separator, 2 to 5 yards away from the earliest defender or the closest defender, is Stephon Diggs at 61.8%. 61.8. Second best wide receiver in the NFL for separation 2 to 5 yards from the furthest defender is Khalil Shakir at 58.6%. Josh Palmer is 13th in the NFL for 50%. Right? A lot of the names that have been floating around of, oh my God, we should bring this guy in, we should bring that guy in. And I'm sure that they would be a great addition to this team. But so A.J. Brown's not on this list. With Chris Olave is not on this list. So Rashid Shaheed is not on this list. And granted, it's a small sample size, right? Like we've only played 5 games so far, but like this is a trend that you see each and every single season. It's more so like, oh my God, like we want a name so we could just be excited that we have a top name in the league on this team. It's never as bad as you think. It's never as bad as you think. We have Dontrell saying, Dan, and you think we should go after OBJ? Don't need a lot of money for him. No. I'm not really team wide receiver. Like not unless like we could bring in AJ Brown for like $760,000, which I'm pretty sure that's what it would cost for this year alone. I'm going to pass. Yeah, I'm going to pass on bringing in any more help. If anything, if there is a wide receiver move done on this team, and I know some people are going to be upset about this because it's not it's not an exciting name. It's going to be trading away a wide receiver. It's going to be one of those moves. It's going to be trading Curtis Samuel to somebody. It's going to be trading Elijah Moore, perhaps, and then elevating Gabe Davis. Like, that's what it's going to be. If I'm a gambling man. If there is any change in this offense from a wide receiver perspective, it's going to be trading away somebody and elevating Gabe Davis to this team. And that's not a bad thing because really outside of the Patriots game last week, this team sleepwalks their way into 30 points per game. That's how it is, especially when we have the best rushing offense in the NFL with James Cook collectively. So I'd save the money, right? I'd save the money from going out and getting like a really crazy team at the end of the day. You know what I mean? MT is in the building. Khalil Shakir was a down-the-field threat in his early years. What do you think he's more used as a gadget and short intermediate route runner now? So I think it's just it's the play call style of Joe Brady. He does not particularly like to stretch the ball downfield. And I'll also be honest with you guys, like, why do you think Josh Allen's interceptions completely disappeared from 3 years ago? It's because of his average depth of target, right? One thing that's been a trend with Josh, and look, dude, he's an MVP. He is, in my opinion, the best quarterback in the NFL by a landslide as far as efficiency, right? As far as efficiency, he is one of the best. But as far as me being able to rank his elite traits, his downfield passing has very rarely been one of his elite traits for me. Like maybe with the exception of 2020 was one of the only seasons I think that he was consistent at it. So, I mean, he's not the best, right? He's not the best as far as downfield. And that's not a bad thing. Some of the best deep passing quarterbacks in the NFL, one of them's on the bench. It's Russell Wilson. And like, he can't really do anything else right? So, and even when you end up looking at Tom Brady, for example, right? Like his downfield passing game is not that good either, right? Patrick Mahomes, like he's nowhere near he used to be downfield. It's just not something I think is much of a necessity nowadays. And it's not something that Josh has ever been consistent at. So I'm not really concerned about downfield stuff. We have the Buffalo Bills have to stop the Falcons on Monday Night Football. Joe Brown. I'm feeling pretty confident about it. I'm not going to lie. I'm feeling pretty confident about this. Patrick Towers. 4-1 with our team not collectively playing amazing. Great individual performances, but if we can get firing on all cylinders, then we'll be good to go. What is important for this team is playing quality and sound November and December football. I'm not concerned about September and October. Right now, we have a pretty big cushion on the vast majority of the league. I know it at least appears that the Patriots are nipping at our heels, but I mean, barring the Buffalo Bills to go on some crazy slump, I'm not so much concerned. Walter S. I love Allen and think he's the best player in the NFL, like most fellow Bills fans, but it's alarming to me how comfortable some are with standing pat talent-wise on offense when the D is a question. But it's not, right? It's not really like much of a question. As far as advanced analytics, which is like what I look at, I don't care about the eye test. No defense is going to be 100% perfect on each and every single rep ever. But like when it comes into collective or the collective, so the data doesn't suggest that we have a bad defense. It does not at all. It does not at all. So I feel like we're pulling at straws at this point, right? It's not bad. Like, say we start completely spiraling down the drain and say that we continue to stack up injuries and we start, really plummeting on EPA, on DVOA, then yeah, maybe we could have that conversation. And as far as like weapons around the offense, sure, like we can bring in another quality wide receiver, but in 2 years, what offensive lineman are you willing to walk away from? So are you okay with Osiris Torrance leaving because we can't afford to go on ahead and extend him, and now we have a question mark at right guard? Are you okay with Connor McGovern leaving because we can't afford him because we ended up bringing in some crazy wide receiver, and we end up sacrificing some protection from Josh as like he's getting closer to 30 and his injury likelihood is skyrocketing? One thing I like to point out, and one thing that has been a trend, is teams that end up making it the furthest in the playoffs typically have this in common. The vast majority of their salary cap is put into the trenches. And that's where the Buffalo Bills are, man. Like, we have a lot of money invested in the trenches on this team. And the defensive line has improved significantly. And with the offensive line, bar none, best in the NFL. Pass protection and run blocking. It's insane. They're so good as a unit. So incredibly good as a unit. So when I hear that, and like we arguably have one of the best running backs in the NFL too. So this whole like we need one more downfield weapon, I'm like, okay, sure. Yeah, like we can go on ahead and sign somebody for an absurd contract, but okay. Just don't complain when Connor McGovern or Osiris Torrance are unable to be brought back because we can't afford it. And then boom, in 5 years, we're the Cincinnati Bengals. Great quarterback, 2 great receivers, terrible offensive line. And with a 30-year-old quarterback that could potentially, but we'll be good there. So with downfield, is it meant to be 80% success rate? 30% is good. Allen can throw it downfield for sure. He's got the strongest arm in the NFL and good accuracy, but we don't draw up proper plays. We have Prison Mike. Our defense is defense more of a problem than the offense, but like it's not all that bad, right? I don't think it's a wide receiver problem necessarily. I think the Pats figured out Joe Brady and Josh had a mid-game. Brady adds a few wrinkles. It should be okay. I'm not so much concerned. Bean failed to find stars. Question, how do we feel if Bills do nothing and Chiefs pick up Kamara or something and beat us again? So because of the moves they make, I believe the Chiefs don't even make the playoffs without a move though, but whatever. I'm not so much concerned. So I'm not so much concerned with so with games in January right now. Right now, I am just taking one game at a time, and I could care less. Like, that's me. Where do we stand with Ogunjobi and Hoyt showing up after week 6? Is that a game changer in your eyes? For sure. For sure, man. Like, we have Hoyt and Ogunjobi coming back. And so we're already the number 1 pressure defensive line in the NFL. We're 7th in sack percentage. It's only going to increase. And Bosa has been doing great. Facts, Dan, and the O-line is top tier. For sure. Like, look, I'm fine. Look, I would not be pissed off at all. In fact, I would be celebrating if somehow we bring in A.J. Brown to this team. I would, right? But you can bring in a top tier talent or a skill position player on this squad. But you need to ask yourself, who are you willing to sacrifice on the offensive line who's due to be paid in a couple of years? So who are you willing to sacrifice? And let me tell you what, one of the hardest things on the planet is being able to efficiently evaluate talent from the offensive line in the draft. It is so hard to hit a winner in the draft. So hard. And you can go on ahead and criticize Bean for like maybe some of his corner picks or like maybe some of his defensive picks. Don't you dare criticize that man for picking players on the offensive line. Don't you dare. Because that dude does not miss. You have Deion Dawkins, one of the best left tackles in the NFL. You have Osiris Torrance, one of the best guards in the NFL already. He's in year 3. Spencer Brown's really damn good. And so I know it was shaky, right? Can't critique Bean in his offensive line selections. Gotta love that. I say everything is fine. Let's be confident in our team, our defense and offense. Let's just be confident and let everyone do their thing. Go Bills. That is the goal. At the end of the day, we have Jon Snow. The Josh Allen design run plays seem to be less effective than his scrambles, in my opinion. They could stop calling them or re-scheme it. I mean, he's getting older, right? Like, he's far more effective scrambling than with the design runs. Lose a good offensive line player and Cook is neutralized, for sure. For sure. Except for Cook's vision's incredible. Like, you can't steal that. I wish Bean would draft better. Last year's draft proves this. Last year. So I'd say be patient on that draft. We'll see if we can get a little bit. Funny enough, Cole Bishop has been pretty good. Say that we're being nitpicky about individual performances on the secondary. One of the best players we have in the secondary so far this year is Cole. Rapp has probably been one of the worst. Benford's really good at tackling. He's quality against the run. Coverage has kind of been a little shaky on a couple of specific plays, but rest be assured, as far as that second-year jump, Bishop is hands down one of the best players we have in the secondary right now. Dan, did you see Jackson Dart had the same rushing yards as Saquon Barkley last night? 58. I know. Dude, what is going on with this Philadelphia Eagles offense? Say, for example, y'all want to tap in. Say, for example, that y'all would like to tap into Fourth and Forever. I am doing a solo episode on Roundtable Sports. We're going to be unpacking a lot of NFL trending topics. I hope all of you are able to join. And that's going to be at 1 p.m. EST. We have Light of Truth. And do you expect to see Kincaid in Monday's game? What happened with Jackson Hawes in the Pats game? We were doing great with him in. Is Deion Dawkins game ready? And yes, minimize penalties and or turnovers. I expect to see Kincaid, Hawes as well. I think out of all the players we'll be shorthanded from, I think we won't see Matt Milano, obviously. He's week to week. That's about it. Yeah, that's about it so far. Saw Rapp with a nose injury, which is interesting. I feel like Cook was less present in our last game, and we need to use him more. Look, like, I love James Cook, but like, dude ended up giving us 4 straight games of 100+ yards, right? As much as I would love to see that each and every single week, I think that is not reasonable. And so to expect that. And so the Patriots just had a great game plan right against James Cook. Very good game plan. Don't think that the Falcons really have the personnel that can effectively stop James Cook, though. I can't, All of their DBs and most of their defensive front is significantly undersized. So I hope you can tackle James Cook. Mike Hughes, Billy Bowman, and even AJ Terrell not the best tacklers. I have a feeling that's going to be a big part of the offensive game plan, is run against those guys. That's it. Question. So the Bills got this. On a lighter note, does it bother anyone else that the diamond necklace with the uniform? This isn't prom, it's football. Oh, man, listen. Winning cures all, Angela. Winning cures all. Jackson Dart is, I mean, damn, like you would think that Giants fans were ready to just build a statue for that young man for taking down the Philadelphia Eagles last night. Him and Scatterbo, who knows? I just want Brady, and so to be less predictable, we run almost every first down, even in 8 and 9-man boxes. We do. He's being ballsy. You know what I mean? It's almost clear as day. So when Buffalo lines up with Josh Allen under center, they're running the football. And for the first 4 games of the season, it didn't matter because most defenses couldn't stop it, right? He's still getting an automatic 4 to 5 yards. Weirdest thing about the Buffalo Bills is that we are toward the bottom of the league in play action. I want to see play action ramped up quite a bit. If you're having a running back performance like James Cook so far for the first 5 games of the season, have to ramp up play action. That's probably like my biggest complaint with Joe Brady this year is where the hell is the play action? Get that going. Benford is very cerebral and a technician when it comes to coverage. And do you think his concussions are a partial reason of his recent dip in coverage? It's tough to say. Man. I have to assume that I don't think this is going to be a trend. And you know what? This is probably one of the best games for him to show the world that he still has it. That his first couple of games so far this season has been a fluke. He's going to be going up against Drake London, right? Who is a very good wide receiver. He's a quality wide receiver here. But again, right? Like with Michael Penix, does not stretch the ball downfield. He's not very good past 10 yards. His completion percentage is 46.8%. So I'm not really seeing a lot of deep shots down to Mooney, who might be injured. And same thing to Drake London. So it's time. It's time for Christian Benford to earn his money. I would really like one of those. If there was any way to get BB to able to pursue A.J. Brown, what do you think we would give up? It's going to cost some money. Dude. He's still one of the upper echelon weapons on the field. I think A.J. Brown would probably cost, no less than a second-round pick. Knowing how Howie Roseman operates, zero question behind that. Zero question behind that, brother. Anyway, so I got to tell you guys something. Some fun stuff here, okay? In exactly a half hour, I'm about to be hopping on a buddy's channel who covers the Atlanta Falcons. All right? And he wants to talk a little ball. Man. So I would love for Bills Mafia, say, for example, you can't get enough of this Bills and Falcons coverage. I'm going to need each and every single one of you to head on over there. Subscribe. And get ready for 11:30. All right. So I have this pinned at the top of the chat. Head on over there. I'm about to be discussing Buffalo Bills and Atlanta Falcons here in just about a half hour. I hope that I see all of you over there as we end up unpacking exactly what to look for in this Bills and Atlanta Falcons game. Can't wait to see you. Indeed. I may be live again tomorrow, where I am going to be opening up the Garage Beer Hotline on Saturday. So we could just have a conversation about this, right? And then Sunday, maybe I'll do it Sunday, since we have nothing to do but watch football right in the morning. But love each and every single one of you. What to look out for the remainder of the afternoon. I will be on that Atlanta Falcons channel. And then following that, I am going to be on Fourth and Forever. It is our daily NFL news show. It is a solo episode for me where I am just talking all things NFL. We're going to be unpacking exactly what's wrong with the Philadelphia Eagles offense. We're going to be looking at some advanced analytics as far as how you can realistically rate teams based off of 5 games already, and then previewing the remainder of week 6. I can't wait to see each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tapping in with me, and we will see you here in just a couple of minutes. Peace.